Iran's general said Tehran could reconsider its nuclear doctrine if threatened. U.S.-Israeli officials discuss Iran and the issue of aid to the Gaza Strip. A series of Ukrainian cities are preparing for the worst scenario as Russia increases attack pressure. Iranian general, Tehran can reconsider nuclear doctrine. Senior commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, Brigadier General Ahmad Haghtalab said that Iran may review its nuclear doctrine if there is any threat or action against the country's nuclear facilities. General Haghtalab's above statement was made in a video broadcast by state television station, Islamic Republic of Iran Radio, IRIB, on April 18 after Israeli officials pledged to respond to the attacks. Iran's unprecedented attack on Israel last week. According to Qatar-based news agency Al Jazeera, General Haghtalab is the commander of the IRGC's division protecting Iran's nuclear facilities, and this force has warned that it will attack Israel's nuclear sites and may could pursue nuclear weapons if Israel attacks Iran's nuclear facilities. In a statement quoted by Iran's semi-official Tasnim news website, General Haghtalab said Israel's nuclear facilities were in sight and the Iranian side had all the necessary information about the targets. Spend that, General Haghtalab emphasized, our finger is on the button to launch powerful missiles to destroy designated targets in response to a potential attack by them, Israel. In a related development, on the evening of April 18 local time, the morning of April 19 Hanoi time, Israeli missiles attacked a location in Iran. Iran's semi-official Fars news agency reported that many people heard an explosion near the airport in the central city of Isfahan. Fars said more explosions were also heard near the military base in Isfahan. However, according to Fars, the cause of the above explosions is still unknown and investigations continue until the exact details of the incident are determined. U.S.-Israeli officials discuss Iran and the issue of aid to the Gaza Strip. There are growing international calls for Israel to do more to help civilians in Gaza, where almost all of its 2.3 million people have been displaced and there is widespread famine. On April 18, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin had a phone call with his Israeli counterpart Yoav Gallant and discussed aid to the Gaza Strip, as well as escalating tensions in the Middle East. The Pentagon statement said Secretary Austin discussed the importance of increasing and sustaining the flow of humanitarian aid to civilians in Gaza, including through a new route from the port of Ashdod in Israel. There are growing international calls for Israel to do more to help civilians in Gaza, where almost all of its 2.3 million people have been displaced and there is widespread famine. Previously, the Israeli military said that on April 17, food trucks from Ashdod port entered the blocked Gaza Strip for the first time since Tel Aviv approved opening the port to support the delivery of aid. Humanitarian. According to the Pentagon, Secretary Austin and Secretary Gallant also discussed tensions in the Middle East after Iran retaliated for an airstrike on the consulate on the grounds of the Iranian embassy in Syria. The worst scenario Ukraine could experience in 2024. President Volodymyr Zelensky warned that Russia was planning to launch new attacks in early summer, making Ukraine's shortage of ammunition and weapons even more difficult. Mr. Berry predicted that Russia will likely increase the conduct of a series of major attacks in the spring and summer with the aim of causing damage to Ukraine, while pushing the country's defense forces eastward as well as opening up the country. Expand control over territories, especially Donetsk and Lugansk in the east. IISS assesses that Russia has mobilized hundreds of soldiers so it can maintain the attack campaign for a period of time. Moscow can mobilize enough contract soldiers to maintain its force structure, and at the same time has the ability to replenish the number of tanks lost on the battlefield for 2 years or more. It also puts its economy in wartime regime with military spending currently accounting for 1/3 of the national budget and reaching about 7.5% of GDP, said expert Berry. According to this expert, Russia's supply of artillery shells, suicide UAVs, and ballistic missiles from abroad also shifts the balance of firepower between the two sides. That means that next year, Russia will be able to create enough missiles and UAVs to maintain pressure on Ukraine's air defense system, attack the country's defense industry, and at the same time try to undermine Ukraine's air defense system. Spirit of the Ukrainian army and people. Western action. Ukraine's partners pledged to provide more support to the country amid signs that the situation on the ground is seriously deteriorating. However, the supply of F-16 fighters and long-range missiles is still quite cautious. There have been expectations that a $60 billion U.S. military support package could be approved in a short period of time, while Europe in March agreed on a €5 billion support package, $48 billion to Kyiv. International support for Ukraine is increasing. This is very important for their ability and fighting spirit in the context that Kyiv will push to mobilize more troops next week or 2 weeks next. Ian Bremmer, founder and chairman of Eurasia Group, commented. He said these factors will accompany some achievements in the near future of the Ukrainian army. Commander-General of the Armed Forces of Ukraine Oleksandr Syrsky is focusing on strengthening defense, not risking soldiers' lives to gain territory, and demonstrating Ukraine's ability to directly threaten Russia, followed, most recently by attacks on this country's oil refineries, Mr. Bremmer said.